Okay, my name is Frances Newbury. I'm from the UK. I teach physics here, and I have a background in working in international schools, particularly in the CIS region. And so I speak Russian.
Ah, brilliant. Okay, thank you.
Okay, my name is Gareth Stamp. I teach art and design here. My background is in teacher training across the UK. A bit of international experience, but not a lot. And I don't speak Russian.
Okay, my name is Christy Halcomb. I'm from the United States. This is my first year as a teacher. In the past, with my training and other experiences, I was actually a social studies teacher. I'm certified in both social studies and English. Here I'm teaching 6th grade English, 11th grade English, 9th grade critical thinking, and 10th grade test prep. So it's a really crazy schedule.
I'm Nick. I'm also from the US, from California. My past experience includes teaching in Myanmar, in China, and also in Taiwan. Here I teach English language to anywhere from 7th to the 11th grade.
And what qualities are important for teachers who join this program next year? Just open it up to anyone.
Okay, well, I would say the first thing is to not have lots of preconceptions about what it's going to be like, and be flexible. Be open to adventure. It's great. The pace of change here is really very rapid, which is great. It's makes it a really interesting, stimulating working environment. But you have to do many things on the hop. You have to be very flexible, and you have to be really resourceful.
Okay. Yeah, this is not a normal teaching job. It's, you've got to be a very adaptable person, I think, to work here, and just be prepared for anything. Because it is an adventure. It really is an adventure every day. It's great fun, but it's a bit of a roller coaster as well, because there are up times and there are down times, and you know, you've just got to go with it.
I think a lot of patience is definitely required. There's a lot of times when there's a lot of frustration and there's a lot of confusion, but this is a new school, and it kind of is like any other startup. There's going to be things that are not running the way they are because we are trying it out for the first time. So just be patient, understand that things are improving really quickly, and that your patience will actually benefit you in the end.
Excellent. So I'd like you to tell me how, if you give me maybe one thing that's the same and one thing that's different between your schools at home and your school here. Or maybe 10 things that's the same.
Well, I would say kids are the same, colleagues are the same, people are people, and I think that's really important to remember that, because sometimes that can get lost in amongst the language differences, and the machinery is all different, but the people are the same. People are just people. And the thing that is different is everything. Really, I would say it's, although the job on the surface is the same, teacher is a teacher, because the machinery of the school and the setup and our role here within the school, it's a completely different job to just teaching.
It's definitely an evolving project. It's not. This is not a finished thing. It's an evolving project that we're all learning from. Two-way process.
Things like the structure in the school, like how the way the school's structured with regards to line managers and department heads. Things like curriculum schemes of work. There are no schemes of work. There is something called a calendar plan. All the things that you take for granted that are there in a school, because that's what are there in a school.
You just throw out the rule book.
There are normally other things in place, but it takes a while to figure out what those are.
Workloads the students have, do expect the students to be ultra stressed.
Okay.
I mean, they're stressed in the US as well, but I think a lot of the students are overpacked with work, and that's something that I'm still finding it hard to get used to, actually.
But generally speaking, when you have a challenge, there's also rewards. I'd like you to think about one of those moments where you went, wow.
There are loads, actually. There are loads. Are really bright and dedicated, but there are a lot of things that they, ideas, pedagogical ideas that they haven't been exposed to. And so when they really start to begin to think about something that they know in new ways, it's really rewarding. I think we all think that. We've seen them make massive progress and are thinking more critically and more deeply about things, and that's incredibly rewarding.
I think that's true, and a lot of the extracurricular things, they're incredibly stressful while you're doing them, but once they happen, you realise how much of a journey you've had. You know, putting on something very commonplace in the UK would be, you know, an art exhibition or something like that would be really easy. But here, everything is an uphill struggle, and when it happens, it comes together, and you get the students. The reward is actually amazing. They want to speak English, so they're constantly wanting to talk to you, which is no good for me learning Russian. But in terms of, you know, they just want to speak English, and it's great because they're so helpful, so friendly. I mean, Astana feels like the safest city I've ever been in, and I've been in quite a few. It's really safe.
I would agree with that as well.
I mean,
I feel incredibly safe here.
Yeah,
more than any place I've ever lived.
Wow.
I have a small child, and I would obviously that could be a worry going to a new place, an unknown place with a small child. But I think it's a fantastic place for children. Really a fantastic place for children to grow up. And
the only downside is the weather. We haven't talked about the weather yet.
Let's talk about the weather.
The weather.
There's a meter of snow outside.
There's a meter of snow outside.
Yes.
It's blowing.
But the meter of snow came overnight.
Yes.
Overnight. It was not there yesterday.
But because it's snowing, it's warmer. It's only minus 18 outside, and it has to be warmer to snow. So therefore, we've had a meter of snow.
How do you cope? How do you cope with it?
Come here prepared with hobbies that you can do indoors.
You have to get out.
Play the guitar, take some online classes. That's sort of
read a book.
It's
write
true
a
that
book.
we've been having lots of get-togethers with some of our teachers and international teachers in people's houses that are close by.
Yeah.
That's been one of the ways that we deal with that. But also the city deals with it too. For example, the river. There's all sorts of amazing things that happen on the river in this weather.
Because it's frozen.
All the stairs are covered with ice, and it's turned into a slope that kids slide down, and it's really fun to see everybody coming out and skating on the river, ice maze, all that stuff. That's really
I feel like if you're into cross-country skiing, there's a lot of opportunity here.
But the weather is extreme. I mean, we arrived in August and it was probably plus 30.
35.
Up 35, and 2 weeks ago we had minus 53.
Yeah.
Get some really serious snow.
What do you wish you knew before you came?
Everything.
Give me one thing. If you were going to give one piece of advice to a teacher who's going to come here, what would it be?
I wish I knew how radically different a school could be. I thought a school was a school. Kids come, teach. I thought that's what happened, and I was unprepared for how school structures and mechanisms could be so different.
Okay.
Be prepared to do other things other than what you think you're going to do. And I mean, although the role of teacher is a key one here because we're modelling good practice in English, be prepared to train staff, be prepared to help staff, be prepared to mentor staff, and you don't know who you're going to be doing that with.
Be prepared to do all sorts of things outside of your certification area, which can be really fun, but unexpected. So be prepared to be asked to do all sorts of different things. If you mention a little talent that you have or an interest that you have, you're probably going to be asked to prepare something on that. Okay. Be prepared to make your own resources, basically.
But I mean, like make your own, build your own timetable. I mean, we've all expanded our portfolio of what we do.
Yeah.
Any times that you've been out that you might have been exposed to local culture, have there been any moments where you thought, wow, that's really interesting or that's really cool?
24 hours a day. 24 hours a day. And that's not a joke. This place, I wake up every morning and it's an adventure. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who I'm going to meet, what I'm going to see. It is just such an interesting place.
There are very few expats and foreigners in Astana still. That's growing every year, but there are relatively few, and so we bring novelty to every situation. and I have made in 6 months so many friends here because people are so interested in me and why I'm here, and interested in learning some English. Yeah, if the warmth of the people and
People
being
are
able
so
to
warm. Yeah.
just meet people on the bus when you're out, and then they become like really good friends.